guys, welcome back. My name's Nathan, and today I'm going to be ranking my top 10 best Canadian NHL prospects. Now, the amount of fantastic Canadian NHL prospects has been a mainstay in the NHL for a long time. There is always great Canadian prospects to choose from, but right now there's a very solid core of Canadians that'll do some damage in the next few years. But which Canadian prospects make my top 10, and who do I see as the best Canadian prospects right now in the NHL? Watch till the end to find out. Now, while I'm a Team USA fan, I will admit that obviously Canada is the best hockey country. But when it comes to prospects, while they might not have the greatest collection of prospects for a country, they're still freaking fantastic. And a lot of the prospects I'll mention in today's video have superstar potential and will be amazing in the NHL. Now, jumping straight into it, for my top 10 Canadian prospects, going into number 10, I have Peyton Krebs of the Vegas Golden Knights. Left winger / center, who was drafted 17th overall in the 2019 NHL draft. At age 18, he had an excellent season in the WHL on a terrible Kootenay team. He's a guy that I think went very underrated in the 2019 draft. Dropping to 17th overall was one of the bigger steals of the draft, and the Vegas Golden Knights getting him a better pick outside the top 15 is pretty much a blessing in disguise. And I think Peyton Krebs will definitely prove himself as at least a top 15 prospect coming out of that draft. To go 17th overall was just an absolute steal by Vegas. And Peyton Krebs, again, I think is just such a quality, dynamic prospect. He put up 68 points in 64 games in the WHL, which on Kootenay is just unbelievable. And those aren't fantastic WHL stats in general, but again, he was on one of the worst CHL teams of basically all time too. I think he has great offensive skills. We saw that in the World Juniors, and on a good team, I think he'll do some excellent damage and could be a future captain for Vegas. Moving on to my number 9 best Canadian NHL prospect, going down to the Detroit Red Wings and Joe Veleno. Center, age 19, who was drafted 30th overall back in the 2018 NHL draft. Joe Veleno, again, going back to the 2018 draft, had no business dropping that far. So far after this draft, he's pretty much proved himself as a guy that should have gone at least top 20. There's still doubts around him over maybe his attitude level, but for Detroit, should be one of their top prospects and probably one of their top centers in their future. Now, Joe Veleno in 59 QMJHL games was able to get 102 points, which as a 19-year-old is pretty impressive. And the QMJHL obviously is not the hardest league to score in, but I think, again, those stats are still pretty impressive. And for a 30th overall pick, he's proved himself quite a bit so far. He didn't have the greatest World Juniors, but I still think he has a ton of potential. For the Detroit Red Wings, Dylan Larkin will obviously be the next guy for their future, but Joe Veleno will make for an amazing second-line center and a great duo between Dylan Larkin and Joe Veleno for the future. Now, moving on to my number 8 best Canadian NHL prospect, going to the New Jersey Devils and Ty Smith. Defenseman, age 19, who was drafted 17th overall back in the 2018 NHL draft. Ty Smith for New Jersey is one of their best prospects, would be their best prospect without Jack Hughes, but right now is the future on that defense, and right now their number 1 defensive prospect. Now, Ty Smith put up 69 points in 57 games, which is pretty nice in the WHL, but overall, again, he has some solid numbers in the World Juniors. But Ty Smith won the CHL Defense of the Year, even though I personally don't agree with that awarding. I think guys like Josh Brook deserve that more, even a guy like Bowen Byram. He's still an excellent year, and at age 19 is looking pretty impressive. I think he'll likely play at least in the AHL system next year. I don't see him playing another WHL season, but for the New Jersey Devils, maybe making the NHL roster. Right now, he is that good, and right now, that talented. Now, moving on to my 7th best Canadian NHL prospect, going out of Dylan Cozens and the Buffalo Sabres. Center, age 18, he was drafted 7th overall in the 2019 NHL draft. Dylan Cozens, I think, is still one of the top prospects from the 2019 draft. Great overall ability, too. And for the Buffalo Sabres, could be their second-line center for the future. Obviously, you have Jack Eichel, and I don't think Dylan Cozens can pass a guy like that, but I think he will be pretty good for Buffalo if they actually do develop him right. Now, Dylan Cozens just had a solid overall year, had 84 points in the WHL, had 9 points in the World Juniors. Points-wise, it was pretty awesome for him. For the Buffalo Sabres, right now he shows a lot of promise. Now, obviously, when it comes to Dylan Cozens, there is some bust factor there, and I can definitely see it happening. He's not a guy that's a slam dunk pick whatsoever, but if developed right in Buffalo's system, he could be a guy that ends up proving me wrong. I had him kind of up and down throughout my rankings throughout the year. He ended up being around that 7 area, so again, not the biggest steal by Buffalo, not a huge reach by Buffalo, but just overall, a pretty solid pick. Moving on to my 6th best Canadian NHL prospect, now going to Barrett Hayton and the Arizona Coyotes. Now, Barrett Hayton is a center at age 19 who was drafted 5th overall back in the 2018 NHL draft. And we all knew he had a fantastic defensive ability. That was no surprise whatsoever. But the offense is what he really did improve on. And this year in the OHL, he was a lot better than a lot of people expected. Right now, it's proving a lot of people, including me, very wrong. Now, although he wasn't completely healthy for this OHL season, he was still pretty fantastic. Played 39 games and got 66 points, which is amazing compared to what he did that last season with Sault Ste. Marie. He had 4 assists in 5 games in the World Juniors with Team Canada, which is also pretty solid. But this next season, I think Hayton is going to have a terrific year. Could play maybe one more year in the OHL. I think will be fantastic in the World Juniors and wherever he ends up playing. The AHL, the NHL, the OHL, wherever. I think he'll be great. And offensively, so far, he's been pretty fantastic. Now, advancing on to my 5th best Canadian NHL prospect, now going to Kirby Dach and the Chicago Blackhawks. Center at age 18, who was obviously drafted 3rd overall back in the 2019 NHL draft. While I like Kirby Dach, I don't like him personally to draft him high enough as 3rd overall pick. But the Chicago Blackhawks obviously have different ideas. But Kirby Dach, if he stays consistent and lives his full potential, could be the next first-line center for the Blackhawks. Now, Kirby Dach put up 73 points in the WHL this past season, which is not the greatest for a 3rd overall pick, but again, the consistency is kind of what held him back points-wise. The skill has never been a problem when it comes to Kirby Dach. We all know the skill and the talent he has, and it's pretty evident when you watch a game, but the consistency is a huge problem. That's something that he kind of has to round out if he wants to make the NHL level and be an NHL star, is that consistency. There's too many stretches where he was just horrific with the Saskatoon Blades, but this next season will be a huge season for him, and if he can round that game out, he'll be pretty awesome to watch. And then moving on to my 4th best Canadian NHL prospect, now going to the Philadelphia Flyers and Morgan Frost. Center age 20, he was obviously drafted late in the 2017 NHL draft, but so far is proving a lot of different people wrong. With his offensive skills, he's been a beast in the OHL these past couple of years, and offensively is one of the best prospects in the NHL right now. Now, Morgan Frost had 109 points in the OHL, which is incredible. Had 8 points in 5 games in the World Juniors too. And just overall, the offense is key when it comes to Morgan Frost. He has so much skill, so much talent, great puck handling, great passing, everything you'd want in an offensive impact player. Morgan Frost pretty much brings that. Now, he might not transition the greatest of the AHL, the NHL, but I think he will get at least a 3rd line spot for the Philadelphia Flyers. He's the type of guy that'll rejuvenate that offense quite a bit, and Philly's offense is already pretty good, but adding Morgan Frost to that offense in the next couple of years will be very scary to watch. Moving on to my 3rd best Canadian NHL prospect, now going into defenseman and Bowen Byram. Of course, defenseman age 18, he was drafted 4th overall back in the 2019 NHL draft, and for the Colorado Avalanche will be a dynamic guy for their future. Fantastic offensive ability, great defensive ability too. He's just getting it done every single night, consistent, and just overall one of the most talented defensemen we've seen in a long time. Now, Bowen Byram put up 71 points in the WHL, which is fantastic for a defenseman. Had an even better playoffs where he was just absolutely dominant for the Vancouver Giants. I think for the Colorado Avalanche, while he might not be the #1 guy because of Cale Makar, he'll at least be the #2 defenseman for a long time. And that duo of Byram and Cale Makar, as a Dallas Stars fan, makes me pretty scared. Moving on to my 2nd best Canadian NHL prospect, now going back to the Colorado Avalanche and Cale Makar. Defenseman age 20, obviously was drafted 4th overall back in the 2017 NHL draft. Cale Makar is one of the best defensive prospects in the NHL and one of the best prospects overall in the NHL. Had an amazing NCAA season, and for the Colorado Avalanche has already proved himself in the NHL, and next season could be in Calder contention at the very least. Now, Makar put up 49 points in 41 games in the NHL playoffs, was an impact player right out of the gate, was fantastic goal scoring wise, and just overall was a clutch performer, which at age 20 is super impressive. And we saw that in the NCAA playoffs how good he was too. Overall, the offensive impact is so high, and the ceiling for him is high also. He is just has such a great future for the Colorado Avalanche, and right now could be the #1 defenseman as soon as next season. Now, for the moment you've been waiting for, my #1 best Canadian NHL prospect, I have from the Vegas Golden Knights, Cody Glass. Center age 20, who was drafted 6th overall back in the 2017 NHL draft. Cody Glass, unfortunately, wasn't completely healthy this past season, so he wasn't able to be unbelievable like he probably would have been. But I think overall, when healthy, he's one of the best prospects in the NHL, and right now a slam dunk top 5 prospect. Now, Cody Glass has 69 points in 38 games in the WHL, which I must say is a pretty nice number, not gonna lie. He was fantastic in the World Juniors for Team Canada, and in the AHL, when he was called up to Chicago during that playoff run for them, he was amazing also. In the regular season was great for the AHL system, and in the playoffs was even better offensively. He's already proved himself as an impact AHL player, and the NHL, I think, is the next step. While he might not get the best playing time in a team like Vegas, a team that is pretty good right now, I think once Cody Glass is patient and ready to make the NHL, he'll have a huge impact. And once he makes the NHL as a rookie, I think he'll definitely be one of the Calder contention guys, as his points already speak for himself. Now, a few months back, I think back in February when I made my top 10 best NHL prospects overall, I think you had Cody Glass #1. Now, obviously that has changed. I think Quinn Hughes is the best player or best prospect outside the 2019 draft right now, but I still think Cody Glass is awesome too. The offense, again, I've always been a big fan of what he's able to bring, and the potential he has is one of the best we've seen in a long time. I think when it comes to Cody Glass, hopefully he'll be an impact player for Vegas. Obviously, Vegas being my third favorite team, but I think he's their best prospect and has been for a long time. But of course, with this video, I need to hear your guys' thoughts down in those comments down below. So let me know, what do you think about my top 10 Canadian prospects? What do you agree and disagree with as well? And of course, the big question, who do you see as the best Canadian prospects right now in the NHL? But if you guys want some more Grav videos just like this one, you should click on this card right here to watch my video on my top 10 American NHL prospects, 10 to 1. But that'll be it for today, guys. If you guys enjoy, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Again, comment down below your thoughts on my top 10 Canadian prospects, what you agree and disagree with. I'm on vacation right now. Currently, this is the last day we're going to be on this hotel, so I'll have a different setup for the next few days too, so watch out for that. But I've been Nathan, and I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Goodbye.